Think of how life is a game, the first things that come to my mind is how in video games, in games in real life, what do you see commonly? You see that there's levels to it, right? Another thing that you might see commonly might be that if you mess up, because there's different games, right? If you mess up on a certain level too many times, you get set back, which is major when you think about it. That's one aspect. Another key aspect to it as well can be if you're playing a game where you're doing the same thing over and over, your brain, your mind, your skills can't expand. So as much as there's different kinds of examples out there, there's still certain concepts that we can take from there that apply to our real life, which in real life and in reality, it is actually a game. In real life and in our reality, what we are actually seeing is what we witness and actually play on these video games. However, we never give up in these games. We actually get addicted to these games oftentimes, or we go back to it and we get pleasure after accomplishing a certain level or getting something done. Even if it's like a dress-up game where it's not really required, where you have to get through levels, if it's Sims we're talking about, and any other games out there that's not necessarily levels, but you're creating a life. So when you think of all of that, things that should come to your mind is like, oh, okay, like that's how life is like for real, basically. And I say this to say is that people overcomplicate life way too much based off of the external being so hard. You have to find things that will bring you back to grounding, bring you back to recalibrating, bring you back to redoing, restarting, whatever you want to call it, but you're back on track. So if you fell off, you know that the back on track is always an option. So think about when you spiral or you have a funk or you've been having back-to-back days that are just not it. At some point, you have to stop that by yourself. You have to decide, okay, let's snap out of it. Let's get back to a routine, or let's just bounce back, right? Because in these levels, when you fail, whether you have to start all the way from the front again, or you have to just go back, or if you feel like, oh, I have to do this, play this much so I can get more access to this item or this clothing, because a lot of these games make you have to be active, do things, earn it. That's how life is like. So if you know you got to do this, and we know we have a manual to life, we have a blueprint, hence, whatever your beliefs are, whatever your faith is, whatever your background is, when you know that, okay, I have to just know to keep going, have to know that as much as it might not look like the way I want it to look like, there's still going to be a chance, there's still going to be a time, there's still going to be a way that it could look differently if I keep persevering, if I keep staying resilient. So that's where it's like you cannot give up on life. Now, the reason why I believe in knowing, or let me say it like this, the reason why you should know that you want this in life exactly to the T is because you cannot go throughout life not knowing what you want. It's like, where are you aiming for when you don't know where to aim for? Where are you aiming for when you don't know where the target is, right? So it's just like you're kind of putting yourself in position to be lost. Hence why, like, when somebody wakes up and they don't have plans that day, they're struggling a lot more than the person that does have plans. Not to say you can't go with the flow, to each their own, but my point is that you go into a day and you're just kind of like, what am I gonna do today? Not really sure. And that's coming from, okay, well, you don't have nothing scheduled, you don't have a goal for today, you don't have a target. So it's almost like a lost cause. So I look at it as in life, you really want to be strategic. You want to have plans, you want to have goals, you want to know where you're aiming, and you don't want these things that not end up going your way impact you so much that you find yourself not getting back to the basics and then turning into something to be more than just that one something, or be that multiple. You're trying to accumulate at the end of the day. So my point is, the more that you're getting the hang of this and used to it, and you're getting excited to unlock another level, you're locked in, you're seeing that, okay, like, I have these targets that come to me, right? You have a target, but you have things that are targeting you. Let's just talk about the things that are your setback, as some might say, spiritual warfare, mental warfare, whatever you want to call it. You just know that there's a lot of internal and external battles that continue to go on. However, if you're finding things to ground yourself, to put you back into place, if it's even, and this is why it really matters what you lean on that works for you, but if it's even affirmations or scripture or some sort of line, some sort of image, some sort of item that you can look at and it just triggers you back into a positive state of mind, triggers you back to, okay, this is what I'm doing. Not the triggering of like, okay, like, yeah, I can never be something. And that's another thing too, whether it's going to be people or it's going to be environments, try your best to stay away from it, because in any game, you don't want disadvantages. You want anything that's advantages for you so you can use that as your own advantage. Therefore, if you find yourself putting yourself in positions that's just going to keep having you stay in a disadvantage, how can you have any leverage? You're going to have no advantage. You're not going to be able to find an easier or built up a way out of the no way. You get what I mean? And so really have that faith in whatever it is, and also understand that you got to know that it's a game and it has to continue on. It's not that it has to be always on easy mode or hard mode or whatever mode that you feel. Some people will just be like, try to be very neutral, try to be very balanced, so you don't have anything be too harsh, like when things go bad or when things go too good. Bottom line is however you deal with it, as long as you don't stop for too long. And when I say stop for too long, it's because in many games, you can take a break from it, but you got to get back to it if you want to get to the next level. So how bad do you want it in life? And just know that you have it. And one last thing I'll leave you with is know that there is that prize. There is whatever that you want at the end goal. It's just a matter of reaching that end goal. And I say that to say that many people don't seek all the way through because they're so stuck on this very given moment of this external looking like there is no end, there is no reaching it. It's already there. Whatever it is that you want, it's already there, right? If we're talking about quantum physics, all sorts of stuff, whether it's quantum leaping, whatever you want to call it, if it's you're creating your destiny, like whatever you want to call it, there is that whatever you want there. It's already there, but you just got to know, continue on. So if you want it bad enough and you know it's already there, all that means is that you got to keep trying. You got to keep doing what you got to do to get there. And bottom line is that in any game, there's normally assist, right? So there's assist in life, whether it's going to be a breakthrough or when you feel like God's answering my prayers. Again, whatever you want to call the situation, maybe it's a message that you got. As some people say, you're God sent, right? Somebody sent a message and that just changed your day or helped you, right? Or like, your tire popped and then out of nowhere, somebody has an extra tire that works for your car and they actually know how to change your tire, like stuff like that. So I just say that to say, like, there's the good and there's the bad. And remember, and that's also like duality realistically. But like we just want to make sure we're still going through. We're still making sure we're showing up, knowing that there is still that end goal